Welcome all y'all out there in Radio Land to the classroom of Professor Percy Pickem's Peerless Pigskin Predictions and Prognostications 101. Professor Percy Pickem, the freight train of pigskin pain and the master of point spread disaster. After much cogitation and coin flipping, the old professor has carefully prepared his lesson plan, and he's here with his weekly lecture on gridiron glory and his prodigious Pickem Pigskin Report. This week, there's a lot of gridiron grit on the schedule, so sharpen your number 2 pencils, get in your seats, open your books, and get ready to take some notes. The old professor's class is now in session.
This is Professor Percy Pickem, and welcome back to my Peerless Pigskin Predictions and Prognostications 101. Hope y'all are eager to alertly absorb another electrifying episode of exhilarating elocution, expertly exploring the fickle fortunes of fabulous football forecasting. 2 bits, 4 bits, 6 bits, $1. Here are the games that we're going to follow. Arizona versus Stanford. A prominent Pac-12 pigskin pileup is in the plans as a prickly pack of persistent cactus cats powerfully pounce into scenic Santa Clara Valley, hoping to scratch some stripes on a sturdy squad of Stanford Stadium soldiers this Saturday. The treacherous team of Tucson tabby cats will put up a tenaciously tough tussle against the steadfast stand of tall trees of the giant redwoods, but the 18th-ranked Cardinal Clan will be too colossal to tussle. Percy's pick, Stanford. Ole Miss versus Florida. It's going to be aggressive all-out action and an awesome SEC aquarium attraction as a third-ranked school of heat-seeking land sharks go swimming into an unstable swamp saturated with a gnarly gang of gritty Gainesville alligators. The 25th-ranked amphibious reptilians will courageously churn out a sizable supply of splendiferous splishing and splashing against the dangerous denizens of the Dixie Deep, but will give up a whole kit and caboodle in a rebel-winning wang-dang-doodle. Percy's pick, Ole Miss. Texas versus TCU. The all-seeing eyes of Texas will be upon this Big 12 bash as a beat-up bunch of ball-toting burnt orange bovines stampede into a stockyard stronghold, crawling with a scoreboard-busting supply of stiff-arming super frogs. The disillusioned legion of lackluster Longhorns will be looking to land a long-shot wallop on the local lily pad Christians, but the 4th-ranked Trinity River Toads will be way too hoppy for a hook-'em horn stoppy. Percy's pick, TCU. Notre Dame versus Clemson. A spiritual assembly of shillelagh-slinging strongmen slip out of sunny South Bend into the foreboding shadows of the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains for a testy turf war with a temperamental tangle of untamed tigers. The 6th-ranked high-flying Fighting Irish will fling a holy fit on the 12th-ranked ferocious flock of fidgety felines, but won't have enough last-minute rally for their defeating date with destiny in Death Valley. Percy's pick, home field advantage, Clemson. Arkansas versus Tennessee. The program progress of a subpar pair of disappointing pigskin participants will be painstakingly plotted as a hungry herd of heartbroken hogs match up with a malnourished mess of melancholy volunteers in a Neyland Stadium nest of nervous Nellies. The impotent porkers are stuck in their sty, and the Big Orange is squeezed between a rock and a hard place up on Old Rocky Top, as Brett and Butch are both beginning to feel the heat in their seat, while this SEC clash ends in another case of Razorback road rash. Percy's pick in a Knoxville knee-knocker, Tennessee. Well, the old professor needs to take a short break, maybe sashay down to the teacher's lounge for a minute, if you know what I mean. So y'all go ahead and act up like you always do when the teacher leaves the room, but I'll be back before you can say Professor Percy Pickem's Peerless Pigskin Predictions and Prognostications 101.
Southern artist Larry Womble has a collection of art prints from your favorite college towns. Visit LarryWomble.com to view the array of prints and place an order for yourself or as a special gift. LarryWomble.com.
This is Professor Percy Pickem. Each week, my Peerless Pigskin Predictions are broadcast on the best dang radio stations in America, like our good friends at WTRP AM 620 in LaGrange, Georgia, radio home of the LaGrange College Panthers, and WMAF AM 1230 in Madison, Florida, proud home of the Madison County Cowboys. We sure appreciate your kind support. Now back to my peerless prognostications. South Carolina versus Missouri. A confrontational covey of crowing cock-a-doodle-doos clamber out of their collegiate chicken coop into a feline-infested Ozark Plateau forest for a fur and feather fighting fiasco with a manly mob of Mizzou muscle men. The stubborn show-me staters will be looking to put a home field chicken licking on the barnyard cluckers, but at the end of the day, the feisty fowls will take out the cat. Percy's pick in an SEC upset, South Carolina. North Carolina versus Georgia Tech. A well-groomed pack of preppy pigskinners put on their Ralph Lauren Carolina blue jerseys, pull up their Argyle athletic socks, and adjust their plain front seersucker football breeches for an ACC fall fashion show hosted by a union of yellow jacket-wearing Atlanta urbanites. The trendy Tar Heels of stylish Chapel Hill will do some mighty fancy, high-fashion runway strutting, but the wrinkle-proof A-Town techies will do their best to undress their high-stepping guests. Percy's pick, Georgia Tech. Mississippi State versus Texas A&M. It's going to be the maroon and white against the maroon and white in a big old farm boy fight as a ball-playing bunch of bow-legged bullies sniff their way into a College Station collision with a 12th man menagerie of loud yelling A&Mers. The emotional commotion of copious cowbell clinging and football flinging will produce an agonizing amount of aggregation for the agile Aggies, but the boys from the Lone Star Junction will have too much gumption for the function. Percy's pick in an SEC stemwinder, Texas A&M. West Virginia versus Oklahoma. A monstrous mass of moody mountaineers maneuver out of rustic West Virginia to skedaddle into a confounded crimson and cream-colored encounter with an ornery organization of oversized Okies. The 23rd-ranked Cajun Coonskinners will be as leather tough as a $2 steak in this Big 12 battle with the brawling Boomer Sooners, but the 15th-ranked Dust Bowl dwellers will send the buckskin boys back down a country road to a home where they belong. Percy's pick, keep your powder dry, boys, Oklahoma. Alabama versus Georgia. Well-known British sports fanatic Rudyard Kipling once said, "East is east and west is west, and never the twain shall meet." Well, old Kipling may have known a thing or two about writing poetry and stuff, but apparently didn't know anything about SEC football, because the two divisions will square off this Saturday when a cantankerous Crimson Tide collides with a Georgia juggernaut in a do-or-die demonstration in the dog pound. The Bulldogs want it all, and the Bama backs are to the wall, as shots at the big time are at stake. The Hungry Hounds are home between the hedge, with the Ramajammas on the edge of the ledge. But Tuscaloosa tradition will trump Athens' ambition. Percy's pick by the tip of a houndstooth hat, Alabama. Well, saying all these words so fast is making the old professor's throat a mite dry. So let's take a short water break right here, because hydration is a mighty good thing. But don't you go away, because we'll be back quicker than you can wet your whistle. Whether you are tuned in on Professor Percy Pickem's radio network, our fabulous Facebook page, or right here on our weekly YouTube TV broadcast, we hope you get a kick out of the old professor's Peerless program. We thank you so much for listening and would sincerely appreciate you telling all your friends and acquaintances about us. Help us spread the word. Now let's get back to the show. Well, we've covered a lot of close contests for your consideration so far, but here are some more to cheer for with the old professor's quick picks and pronto prognostications. Penn State puts down Army. Middle Tennessee State sneaks by Vanderbilt. Northwestern knocks out Minnesota. Virginia Tech pops Pittsburgh. Wisconsin wins over Iowa. Michigan State punishes Purdue. NC State slugs Louisville. Duke defeats Boston College. Auburn knows the way to San Jose State. Ohio State outruns Indiana. Baylor bashes Texas Tech. Florida State waxes Wake Forest. Navy shoots down Air Force. UCLA airs out Arizona State. East Carolina stomps SMU. California conks out Washington State. Oklahoma State sneaks by Kansas State. Kentucky eats up Eastern Kentucky. Michigan manhandles Maryland. And LSU jambalaya, crawfish pie, and Philly gumbos Eastern Michigan. Well, doggone it, that about does it for this week, but we'll be back again next week. Same Percy time, same Percy station. So don't forget to tune us in on the radio, Facebook, and YouTube TV. And don't forget to tell your friends about the show. Just search for Professor Percy Pickem. That's P-I-C-K-E-M, Professor Percy Pickem. So long for now, and thanks so much for listening. And always remember the sage advice from my good old friend Larry Womble. Play hard when you're ahead, and never give up when you're behind.
Professor Percy Pickem is a production of CRM Sports. For more, log on to y'all.com or share the podcast in the iTunes Store.